India Global Forum. We are just days away now from the climate summit, also known as COP26 in Glasgow. I was looking last night at the COP26 website. One of the things that it points out is that to achieve our climate goals, every single company, every financial firm, bank, insurer, investor is going to have to change. Countries also need to change, need to manage the increasing impacts of climate change on their citizens' lives, and crucially, they need the funding to do it. The scale and speed of the changes that we have to make is going to require all forms of finance. Public finance for the development of infrastructure that we need to transition to a greener and more climate resilient economy, and private finance to fund technology and innovation to help turn the billions of public money into trillions of total climate investment. So we're going to explore that issue now, and we're going to start with a fantastic panel member who's in India now, the government of Maharashtra, Cabinet Minister of Tourism and Environment. Please do welcome Aaditya Thackeray. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you. How are you doing?
All good. So I wonder if you could give us your thoughts, first of all, on climate financing and what governments are doing to incentivize investments in this area.
I think more than climate financing, what we need to really realize today is it is a climate emergency. We do not have the luxury of time. I believe that we have 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years to really act on climate change emergencies. If you look at what's happening around the world today or happening around us, there are not weather anomalies anymore. These are climate change emergencies, and these are events that are a pattern today in terms of climate change, be it floods, be it typhoons, be it cyclones, be it hurricanes, be it hailstorms, extreme heat, extreme winter. There is a and often when we have conferences for climate financing or incentivizing EVs, I keep asking the people, do we need incentives to survive? Because we did not need incentives to wear masks during COVID or take the vaccine. We do not need incentives to take life-saving drugs. We need incentives to survive. And in that sense, if you look at what's happened in Maharashtra last year, we spent about 14,000 crores, almost $2 billion on climate change compensation or events arising out of climate change for compensation for farmers or urban citizens. So if this is the case, of course, we need green financing to come into a country like India where we are the industrial powerhouse, we are 1.3 billion people, and if we have to move ahead, we need to quickly transition into a green zone. We need to quickly transition from what we are today into something that is really climate friendly. And if we have to do that, we need to look around the world, bring in the best of ideas, the best of innovation, and the best of climate financing to support these ideas. So that is how I look at it.
And can you tell me a little bit more about some of the projects that you've got going on in Maharashtra in particular?
Multiple projects. One of our flagship events right now that has been going on for a year is Maji Vasundhara. And what we intend to do through that is focus on the 5 elements of nature. And we're getting to start off with the governments really, the urban local bodies, the rural local bodies and state government to focus on our own carbon footprint and evaluate ourselves of how we're doing in terms of carbon footprints. So be it the energy sector, then we're trying to get most of our government establishments onto renewable energy, trying to move our basic lights onto LED lights or energy efficiency. We're looking at probably tree plantations. Just last year, in about 8 months, we've planted about 2.2 million trees as urban forests. We've got almost 10,663 tons of compost generated. We are looking at rainwater percolation system or rainwater harvesting systems within our own compounds of government buildings. We are taking strides in terms of education of school children. We've made a syllabus with the UNICEF that we are soon bringing into our stream of education. So these are some of the things that we're really focusing on. But going beyond that, we've also got probably India's most progressive and dynamic electric vehicle policy. That is something in the flow. And another part being the renewable energy sector. So we're focusing on all sectors really, all elements of nature to move forward. And that is what we look at as Maji Vasundhara.
And what do you want to come out of COP26 for you sitting in Maharashtra in terms of the climate finance, clarity coming from governments there?
I believe all the national governments, all the sub-national governments like us from COP26, we need to learn that this is a climate emergency. That is the first and foremost priority I have as a young person from, a global citizen. Two, of course, going beyond realizing what we have, we need to step beyond discussions into actions because the time to act is now. We do not have enough time to act. So that is the second thing. The third thing is we need to really reorient ourselves in terms of what we term as development to sustainable development. We need to pass every aspect of policy through a climate test because today, be it roads or building dams or airports or whatever, we need all these things. We need development. But if we have development, there is going to be climate change. If we have sustainable development, we're going to have climate change impact, mitigation, and adaptation. I think that is what we need to think about. And four, of course, we need an equitable future because the countries least responsible for climate change are going to face the brunt of climate change the most. Countries will have large-scale migration. Agrarian economies are going to face huge impact on farming and agriculture. This is going to affect us all across the world unilaterally. And whatever scales of our economies, whatever scales of development or manufacturing or industrialization or financial prowess that all our countries have, we need to have equitable contribution to climate change action. And we need to support each other moving ahead. So we need to work shoulder to shoulder.
Give me some examples of how you're working with businesses in particular on some of the projects that you mentioned, or any others you'd like to bring out.
We're starting small and we're going big as well at the same time. So one of the first things we're doing is we're ensuring that the discharge standards and the emission standards that have been set by our pollution control boards, are being followed to the T. Because quite honestly, what happens is many times these are signed on paper and not followed. So we're not saying we're not going to industrialize. We're not going to move away from the industrial powerhouse or manufacturing powerhouse or the financial powerhouse that Maharashtra as a state is. We are crucial for the country in terms of finances or industries. But we need to ensure that the promises made in terms of emissions and discharge are followed. I think that is first. Two, we're looking at smaller habits being followed by the industries or the hotels or the hospitality sector, trying to be having more green areas on their own complexes or compounds, or rainwater percolation, zero black water or grey water discharge, smaller habits like having sensors in office cabins that you don't really use on an every hour basis, or EVs to transport the workers from one place to another. So we're saying that climate change is not really about movements like going and cleaning beaches. That is essential. But climate change action for every individual, be it in a big industry or a small hotel or a motel somewhere, starts from your own habits. Climate change is no longer the need of a huge event that is happening globally. It's no longer something that is about a movement. It is about what me as an individual, be it in a government office or in a private office, as a school teacher or a student, be it someone who is a sanitation worker or a corporate CEO, can inculcate in myself and in my family as a small habit and contribute my small little contribution to climate change mitigation and adaptation. I think that is what we're working on. It's a mindset that we're changing.